But I will say that doing all these things on a consistent and regular basis, creating a home that feels cozy and comfortable, makes me feel safe and like I can deeply relax. And when I step in the door, I can just sigh. It makes me feel better. How many of you deal with anxiety? Now, I may not look like it. I may not seem like somebody who's terribly anxious. After all, I host a YouTube channel on finding peace and tranquility. But growing up, I didn't even realize how anxious I was because that was just my standard state of being. And this last week, I had my mom come stay with us for 6 days because of the holidays. And she's dealing with a lot of stress right now. My father, her husband, passed away a little over 2 months ago. There's a lot of financial stress. She's never lived alone before. She's dealing with stress with her business. There's a lot going on. And my mother is hyper-connected to the news and terrified of the incoming administration and very afraid for a lot. And while normal days her level of anxiety is somewhere between a 7 and an 8, right now it's at a level 10. And so spending a week with that, practically, was a little intense, especially because I have not been my most tranquil lately. The recent election has really thrown me for a loop, and I'm using all of my skills to ground and find peace, but it isn't easy. And so having this little source of vibrating tension in my home is a little unnerving. But it made me realize something. It made me realize that's how I used to live. That was my just standard state of being most days, all day, everywhere. And the world kind of reflected that back at me. I would find myself in situations that gave me good reason to be anxious, that gave me good reason to be afraid. And I'm very grateful to say most days nowadays, my life is pretty calm. I feel safe, I feel respected, I'm treated well, I'm not facing existential threat for my well-being. But it took a lot of work to get there. And so if anxiety is something you deal with, let's sit down together and have a cup of tea and just dive into these sort of things, shall we? Alright. So on that note, I went and got myself some herbal tea with honey, ginger, citron in it. Oh, hi. You guys want some? Animals. Animals help me a lot with my anxiety. I'm a much calmer person from having their companionship. Hey guys. So I've got 2 dogs and a cat, and they just keep me so much more grounded. I'm so grateful for them. Hey little buddies. Hi. We love you. We love you. We love you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Miss Eva. Hello. We love you guys. We love you guys. You good, baby. Oh, thank you. Thank you. They're my best little buddies. I'm so grateful for them. So, how did I get to the point where first I recognized I was in a state of anxiety because I didn't even realize I was in one? And how did I start to change it? Well, first I'm going to just say, do the things that make you feel calm in the moment. So for me, I have a daily routine that really helps me stay grounded and stay calm. And actually the first thing involves these little guys. Spilling my tea. So first thing I do in the morning is when I get up is I have to take them out. So right now it's winter, so I get all bundled up. And I go take them for an hour-long walk. And one of the things I really strive to do on our walk is I put away my phone. I don't listen to a podcast or music. But I just stay very present to my walk. I observe the trees, the sky, the people around me. I walk very mindfully. I strive to stay very present to the experience of being outside and treat it as a moment of returning to my body, returning to the present moment and just being here. Then, when I get back from my walk, I sit down in meditation. So for me, it's one of those things that I can't ever skip. I have to meditate every day, or I would be crazy. My level of anxiety would go through the roof. My mind would do I don't want to know what. I had an astrologer actually tell my husband that if Kalen ever stops meditating, you have to leave him. So I meditate every day. I do about a half hour of silent meditation. Then I do planetary mantras, especially for the planet that rules the day. And then I do 3 chants. A chant for Hanuman, the monkey-headed god, a chant for Shiva, and a chant for Lakshmi, the goddess of abundance. And then I say the Christian prayer of Jabez, because it's something my dad asked me to do, a decade or so ago, and I honor him by doing that prayer. And then depending on the day, sometimes that's it. Sometimes I'll do something else. Sometimes I'll pull tarot cards or oracle cards. If I'm, sending healing energy to somebody, I'll have a list of names of people that I'm dedicating the merits of my practice to. And then I go to the gym. So I might eat something first, but then I head over to the gym. I do Tai Chi, yoga, weight training, sometimes cardio, sit in the sauna. And all of those things help me to calm down. Additionally, I make sure that I'm eating nourishing food that grounds me. So I know for myself, I can't eat raw food. I can't eat cold food. Some people love salads. I can't do it. I cannot do salads or other raw things because it makes me feel agitated. It makes me feel anxious. And Ayurvedically, the health science of India, they talk about grounding foods being wet, soupy, cooked, and well seasoned. And I find that for me, those things make a big difference. In the evenings, I do another walk. I spend time every day connecting with my partner. I find that love, whether it's verbal or physical, connection, touch, is a great way for me to calm down and come back to my body. My partner has made me feel so much more grounded and comfortable. Really assuages my anxiety. Sometimes I even go to him and say, can you just come sit on me? Just come sit on me or lay right on top of me to help me come down a little bit right now. And so those things make a difference. I also pay attention to what I wear. So if I'm going to be putting on clothes, I usually am in sweatpants and long sleeve t-shirts and hoodies and things that are soft and make me feel bundled up. If I'm playing music in the house, it's very soothing, tranquil music. I play a lot of choral music, a lot of symphonic music. I've lately been really enjoying hammered dulcimers. Kind of niche, but I find that sort of beautiful pinging noise to be very calming to my nervous system. Getting into playing these gongs that we've been doing in meditation here on my channel, and me and my husband have been playing these every night because we just find that it really just puts us in this beautiful vibratory place. Another thing that's really helped me within my anxiety is making sure that I'm working towards goals that are approachable, that I have control over, so I'm not dependent on other people's timelines, that I'm able to work for myself on my own schedule. Because as somebody who identifies as neurodivergent, I don't do well with set hours of work. I don't do well with other people's expectations. When I work for myself, I'm very, very productive and I do a lot and I get a lot done. But if I'm conforming to somebody else's expectations, it doesn't always go very well. And so by doing these things little by little, I've learned to calm down and get back into my body. But even before I started to realize the benefits of doing stuff like this, one of the big things that changed was developing a daily meditation practice. And this is why I teach a live meditation class here on YouTube every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It's why I start my day every day with meditation. Oftentimes in the evening also will meditate. Again, it pulls me back in my body. It calms my frenetic mind. It allows me to find embodiment, because I used to just exist out here. It wasn't even in my head. I was just physically outside my body because I was just so anxious. So coming back to myself, calming down has been a tremendous thing. Learning to appreciate the natural world has made a huge difference. It's hard to be anxious when you're just sitting and watching a rainstorm, listening to the tap, tap, tap of droplets on your window. It's hard to be anxious when you're smelling the air around a great tree or feeling the dirt underneath your toes. It's hard to be anxious when you're watching a sunset, bathing in a sunset. So those are some of the things that I have found. I love to drink tea. I love to read good, engrossing books. I learned that those things really help my anxiety, as opposed to watching a movie. Movies don't calm me down. TV shows don't calm me down, so I do very little of it. I don't drink coffee, largely because I don't want to feel like an adult. Drinking coffee is a grown-up thing, and I'm not a grown-up yet in some ways, I think. Psychologically, anyway. So I don't drink coffee. But I also think the caffeine's a little agitating. I don't listen to harsh music. I don't really listen to any popular music apart from Taylor Swift, and her only on a rare occasion, just because it agitates my nervous system. When I hear music with words, it's agitating for me. So finding what works. But I will say that doing all these things on a consistent and regular basis, creating a home that feels cozy and comfortable, makes me feel safe and like I can deeply relax. And when I step in the door, I can just sigh. It makes me feel better. Someone actually asked if I could do a tour of my home. If that's something you guys would like, please do drop a comment. I'm happy to give you guys a little tour of our apartment if you find that interesting. But I'm here to tell you that as somebody who grew up not realizing that I was anxious and that there was any other way of being, and having my lovely mother in our home reminding me of what it's like to live that way, it's no bueno. It's not good. So what are the things you can do? Whether it's getting a weighted blanket to calm you down if you've got nobody to sit on you, whether it's learning to follow your own schedule, whether it's learning to start your day with meditation or a walk outside, what are the things you can do to reduce that anxiety? Even if it's something simple as creating a morning routine like I have. Maybe yours looks very different, but I find that stability creates a little more zen throughout my day. So those are just some ideas. And if you found them useful, great. If you didn't, I'm sorry. Feel free to drop a comment to let me know what works for you. You notice I have not mentioned medication. I'm not opposed to medication, but I want to be able to live a quality life without needing external support as best as I'm able. Like, there's times where it's appropriate. I just had a month ago a cortisone injection in my foot because of plantar fasciitis, and it made a huge difference after struggling with it for months and months and months. So, get the support you need, but ultimately, I just want to be okay. I just want to be okay. And so hopefully some of this conversation today offered you some ideas of how you can be okay yourself. So if you found this valuable or interesting, please drop a comment. I try to read all the comments. I don't get to respond to all of them, but I try to do what I can. If you have ideas you'd like to share, do share them below. I'd love to start a conversation around this. And if you want to go deeper in these kind of conversations, hear more about my life and what works for me and what I do, feel free to head over to Patreon, because that's a great place to kind of go a little further on the journey. But I want to thank you all for your love and support wherever you are in the world. I'm sending you love, sending you blessings, sending you peace. May you shine bright and be well. And now you got somebody somewhere on the internet rooting for you, that you're going to be okay. I'm Kalen. This is Ecstatic Self. Blessings to you, my friend.